Kentucky Senator Rand Paul blocking a bill to track the mysterious drones seen around the country, mostly up and down the Northeast. Paul argues that the Democrat-led legislation would have expanded the government's surveillance powers while downplaying concerns that the drones are a threat. Several agencies and the White House are saying there is no national security risk, while lawmakers and the public demand more transparency. Let's now bring in Joel Anderson. He's the CEO of ZeroMark, a defense tech startup focusing on drones. Joel, good morning to you. Thanks for joining me on the show.
Morning.
I think the biggest question from a lot of Americans right now, right, is that if these drones are just hobbyist drones, law enforcement drones, commercial drones, like the Pentagon is telling us, then why in the world is it so difficult for the government to explain where they're coming from, what they're doing, and who's behind it?
Yeah, well, so there's probably a good chunk of different types of drones that are being spotted out there. There's a variety of sizes as well. And one of the downsides with our existing detection systems is they're built for large airplanes and craft that have existed for quite some time. And so these smaller drones in particular are actually quite hard to detect on the systems that are out there.
So are you kind of out there? Are they on your radar? You're detecting them? I mean, what are you seeing when you're looking at the skies right now?
Yeah, no, we don't do detection systems at ZeroMark. We're more focused on the defeat portion of it, which is actually a big gap that's been highlighted out of this entire ordeal, is that if we did have a threatening drone or like potentially a weaponized drone, our law enforcement and federal agencies have very little that they can actually do about it, both on a legal basis as well as on an actual tools basis. They just don't have the actual firearms or the kinetic tools that they need to take them down.
And so the government, obviously for the last week or so has been saying, everybody, you're safe. These aren't military. It's not a foreign adversary. Do you believe the government and what we're being told right now by the White House?
I mean, I don't want to speculate too much, but no, I think there probably will be additional intelligence that's discovered as the days go on. It reminds me of the Chinese spy balloon that occurred, about a year ago.
Yeah. What about the blocking of this bill right now? Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer's drone bill that would have given local law agencies more authority to identify these drones, to seize them. But then Republican Senator Rand Paul came through and blocked that bill this week. Was that the right move? And what's the right solution here, Joel?
Yeah, I think there was a little bit of overly permissive things in this particular bill, but Congress does need to get organized and figure this out. We do need to expand the authorities for local and federal agencies and state agencies to be able to actually conduct counter-UAS operations, but they've got to do it in the right way. They can't implicate things like espionage on potential text messages and things like that that are used to control drones.
What about just the mass kind of hysteria and interest in this? I mean, for the past year and a half, we have never seen more of a spotlight put on UFOs, UAPs than we have for the last 18 months, congressional hearings. Do you fear that interest in this is going to wane as we are continuing to give no answers, no revelations? What's your fear?
Yeah, I think the public will probably have a waning interest in things, but Congress knows that they need to change things because there's a massive gap we have in our defenses. You can imagine if, there was thousands of small drones deployed and, pre-staged like a shipping container that could come out and bomb critical sites. In the New Jersey incident, like the nearby thing would be Picatinny Arsenal, which would be a catastrophic loss for us if that happened. And because of the lack of tools and legislation that I mentioned, it's a pretty urgent issue that Congress needs to address. And I don't see that focus waning.
And if it is, hobbyist drones, law enforcement drones, are you surprised we're not hearing from more people saying, hey, guys, that was me flying it last night. Hey, that was our police department flying these. Like, we're not hearing anybody come forward saying, actually, that was mine. Like, that's weird.
I mean, it is a little strange, but there is millions of drones. And even the last year, 700, 800,000 drones were sold in the United States. So it's probably quite a distributed contribution in terms of people that are flying hobbyist drones if they were actually in that kind of position.
It just gets curiouser and curiouser. Joel Anderson, thank you for your time this morning. Really appreciate you hopping on. Thanks for watching, everybody. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. Also, don't forget to click that red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.